Off in the distance there, we've got 3 Holmstrup Arborvitaes. They've been in there about 14 years now. I would say planted at about a 3-foot level, and you can see they're getting just a little bit too tall, starting to hit that roof line. And we don't want to wait much longer now to start pruning them back. Our goal, we want to keep that nice pyramidal shape. And if we wait any longer, yeah, you can end up causing a box type look, something like you see here. Boy, this just isn't my look at all. The goal then is we want to make these look even by the time we're done. And you can see the middle one's a little bit taller, and then the outside two, you know, about the same height. So what we're going to end up doing, we want to have this one be the one that's going to be about a foot lower than the roof eave and the gutter there. So if we bring this back about a foot, that means we're going to have to go back close to 2 feet on this one, and then maybe just a little bit shy of 1 foot on that last one. Now, I've never really sheared these at all. I kind of like the bunchy look of a Holmstrup. It's a nice dominant pyramidal plant, but it doesn't have that completely really tight shape. And so what we will do, once we cut that top, it's going to look a little bit sheared, so we might have to do just a little bit of pruning along the sides on these. Not much. We'll get the head shears out. That way we'll balance it out, and we might take off just a little bit of where those tips are coming out. So let's go ahead and grab that ladder and we'll get started on this. Okay, I am going to start with the middle one. That might seem kind of an odd thing, but I want to go in there and see how much we can take back. And once we find out if we can indeed take 2 feet off, then we know we can come back a foot. If it looks like I'm going to have problems taking off that full 2 feet, then we might have to settle for 12 inches, 18 inches, and we're going to end up taking less. Now it looks like this main leader on the middle one, we might only have 1 leader. And that's what we're going to target. We're going to take that back just about to that 2 foot level off. And then we're not going to take off quite as many on that outer 2 terminals. So what we've got here, we've got 3 main terminals. You can see this one, we've got our middle one here, and then we've got this side terminal. So the goal will be we'll take off just a little bit more in the middle one, and then we're going to use our shears to try to keep that taper the best we can. Now these Holmstrup Arborvitaes, man, they have been through it. These have taken on some snow loads that have just almost collapsed them to the ground, and it's just hard to believe that they actually do snap back from this. I've got some older videos where I showed quite a bit on these, but the Holmstrup, yeah, unbelievable how they'll rebound. Okay, it's always just a little nerve-wracking doing this. To say I think we're going to be okay there. I'm going to start at a point where I know we'll be okay, and then we might be able to go back even a little bit more. We'll drop down 1 more layer, and my suggestion is just work your way down just a little bit. What you don't want to have happen is have something just completely exposed. It takes a long time for the Arborvitaes to rebound from that once they've been scalp backed. Looking at this, I'm going to grab the head shears, and now we'll round it out. This is looking pretty good. Let's go ahead and we'll step back, take a look at it from further back. Okay, if you look at the middle one, then that's pretty darn close. We'll maybe take off just a little bit more, but that's going to work out pretty nice. Not quite as much of a point on it anymore, but we're going to start with that level right there and see if we can match up the other ones. This one's got multiple leaders. We're looking at about 5 main leaders. We'll start with that center one then, and we're going to, again, it's going to go in a little bit lower than the other one. And the reason we're doing that, we want to hide it. We don't want to see a stub on the top. We want to make this look as natural as we can. Okay. The same thing here. We're going to take off the leader back to the next lateral. Right there. And now you can see that tip growth right there. That's what we're going to come in with the shears and try to give it as much as a taper as we can. It's just a matter of annual maintenance now. This will likely kick out 6 to 8 inches, and we're going to have to shear it. What's going to happen then, we're going to get a little bit more of a tight look, and we might end up having to shear more of this plant because we're going to have more of a sheared groom look going into that bunchy look. So it might change a little bit over time, but for this year, you're really not going to be able to tell that we were even there. Take a little more off that center one. Okay, one to go. Not bad, not bad. Look at that, looking pretty even there. We'll go ahead and we'll get that last one taken care of. Let's bring you up the ladder on this one. See if we can get you a bird's eye view on this. This is a solo project, so let's see if I can do it. Look at that coming up. Okay, here's a look at the top of those arborvitaes. You know, that's the other thing. We're up here far enough, nobody's going to see the tops of those. Just the same, I don't like to see any real stubby looks. This turned out great. Let's see if we can back off the camera here. So the height we're shooting for, come across, you know, here we are. About that 12 inches we were talking about. I'm starting to wise up a little bit. Grab the head shears at the same time, one less trip up. Maybe no place to set it though. Okay, here we go. That's a good solid foot. We really aren't going to have to take off much on this one. Here's another arborvitae. This is a technique that I pruned a while back. And we also had a globe spruce next to it. And the homeowner was just kind of like, you know, whatever, do the best you can. We understand that they're just a little bit too big. And, you know, it turned out okay. That technique had a little bit more of a broad pyramid, and that's just their natural habit, that broad pyramidal shape. But similar thing where we took it down, got it away from the house a little bit. Okay, let's step back one more time, and then we'll take a look at the sides, see if we have to do any pruning on that. Yeah, pretty good. Pretty good, pretty even. That one on the left, I might have just a little bit of a tuft up there that I can see I didn't quite get. Let's take a closer look at the sides of these. We'll see if we can get you a good angle. That bunchiness that I'm talking about, you know, not perfectly sheared here. So a lot of different opinions then, different styles, different tastes, and how you grow your arborvitaes. We would have had to have started shearing these at about half this size if we wanted to keep them individual. And I wanted the blend together look just to create that hedge, create that privacy screen. I don't mind how plants blend together. You are going to lose a lot of those inner branches, inner needles. It's just that outer 6 to 8 inches that's alive. Again, I'm not going to take off much on these. Just where I see one of the tufts come out like really dramatically. Best way to do that too, just to take a side view of it, kind of look to the side. Got a little bit of browning down here, my suspicion, a little bit of girdling from the previous season. That can take a while to show up. We'll get that pruned out, roughed up. Sometimes you can get away with on this girdling or these brown spots just by flaking it off, and you don't even have to do any pruning. Pretty natural for arborvitaes to do a pretty good shed as they get older. They self-insulate their roots naturally. I just leave those needles down there. It does provide almost a really good natural mulch for them, as well as nutrients. Any type of leaf that's going to fall off, that's going to break down and provide nutrients going back into the soil. I've got another video here. If you've ever had that unfortunate girdling on an arborvitae, this is how severe it can get. It's just amazing how much damage those voles or field mice can cause. And unfortunately, with most evergreens, especially arborvitae, if you get shaded on the backside, yeah, this is kind of the look. They start dropping the needles. You get kind of a void back there. We happen to bring out some of our larger house plants in this area on our front porch, and we kind of cover up that ugliness that way. We're a little bit wide in that little spot right here. Perhaps we'll take just a little extra off of there. So there's the longest branch that we took out. We'll get some of these branches cleaned up, and then we'll get you one final look at how this all turned out. There's our finished product, and I think we matched up on that height pretty good, all below the roof line there, out of trouble for doing any rubbing. That's all I've got for this video. Make sure you get out there, get those arborvitaes pruned before it's too late. We'll see you again next video.